Good day, everyone, especially to our instructor, Sir Jeffrey Torres. So, our group are assigned to discuss the other concepts of consumption, which is the equimarginal principle and income and substitution effects. So now, let us know the concepts of consumption. So consumption is an activity in which institutional units use up goods or services. Consumption can be either intermediate or final. It is the use of goods and services for the satisfaction of individual or collective human needs or wants. So we all know that the consumption, it is the use of goods and services for the every individual, um, that that the collection of the needs of humans. So now let us know the equimarginal principle. So it is the second law of utility analysis. This law was first propounded by Gaussen. It is known as Gausson's second law. This law points put how a consumer can get maximum satisfaction out of a given expenditure on different goods. The law states that in order to get maximum satisfaction, a consumer should spend his limited income on different commodities in such a way that the last rupee spent on each commodity yields him equal marginal utility. So, according to Dr. Marshall, if a person has a thing which he can put to several uses, he will distribute it among these uses in such a way that he has the same marginal utility in all. Okay, so in here we should consider the same marginality, which is no the equal of a certain um, utility. This law can be explained as number one is traditional statement, and number two is modern statement. So now let's proceed to traditional statements of law. So according to traditional statement, consumer will spend his money income such a way that the last rupee spent on each product will give him equal satisfaction. So we have the formula of mu1 is equal to mu2 and is equal to mun. So the marginal utility 1 is equal to marginal utility 2. So there must be two or more commodities. Whatever marginal utility he gets from both commodity must be equal. So he spent all the income. Okay, so here is the explanation. So the income is Rs 100. So the price of apples is 20 and the banana is Rs 10. So the unit is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the marginal utility of apple is let's get the how we get this. We should minus this by 2. 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 minus 2 is 6. 6 minus 2 is 4, and 4 minus 2 is 2. The next day, the marginal utility of banana is 12. We should also minus it by 2. 12 minus 2 is 10. 10 minus 8. 10 minus 2 is 8, and 10 minus 2. 8 minus 2 is 6, and 6 minus 2 is 6 minus 3 is 3. So now, in order for us to get the is spent is we should multiply it that 1 times 20 is equal to 20, 2 times 10 is equal to 30, and 20 plus 30 is 50 spent. So the other one is 3 times 20 is 60 and 4 times 10 is 40. So the total is 100 Rs spent. Okay, so that's how they the traditional statement of law must compute. And next, let's proceed to modern statement. So modern economists also call it as the law of proportionality. According to them, a person gets maximum satisfaction when the weighted marginal utilities are equal. In other words, when marginal utilities of one commodity divided by its price and the marginal utility of the other commodity divided by its price are equal. So in order for the price to be equal, you should divide the commodity. Okay, so here is the formula: marginal utility over the price. Okay, so here we have a total money of R is 24, and the price of X is equal to RS2, and the price of Y is equal to RS3. So there are unit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So let's get the marginal utility of X and Y. So the 20 we should in X we should, which is RS2, so we should subtract it by 2. So 20 minus 2 is 18, 18 minus 2 is 16, 16 minus 2 is 14, and 14 minus 2 is 12, and 12 minus 2 is 10. So in marginal utility Y, there is a price of RS3. So we should minus it or subtract it by 3. So 24 minus 3 is 21, 21 minus 3 is 18, 18 minus 3 is 15, and 15 minus 3 is 9, and 9 minus is 3. So MU, the marginal utility of money is expenditure. So how we get that? So through this, in getting this, the marginal utility, we should times it by the price. So okay, so in getting our marginal utility of money expenditure, we should divide the marginal utility of the price minus marginal utility minus the price. Okay, so 20 minus 2 is equal to 10, and 18 divided 18 divided by 2 is 9, 16 divided by 2 is 8, 14 divided by 2 is 7, and 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so next is, let's proceed to marginal utility of Y. So the price of Y is 3, so we should divide it by 3. So 24 divided by 3 is 8, 21 divided by 3 is 7, 18 divided by 3 is 6, 15 divided by 3 is 5, and 9 divided by 3 is 3, and 30 divided by 3 is 1. So that's how we get the marginal utility of Y and X and the marginal utility of money expenditure. So in modern method, calculating marginal utility with respect to the price. Yes, we should always use the price in getting the marginal utility money expenditure. Okay, now consumers trades under law of equimarginal utility. So here we can see this um, so it is just the same on the explanation I explained to you a while ago, and here we can see that there is the quality of x here is lost, and the quality of y in the other side is its gain. So that's all for my discussion here, and let my um, group mates continue. Thank you.
So what is the importance of law? Consumption, production, exchange, price, discrimination, distribution, public finance, international trade, distribution of assets, distribution of time, saving, and investment. So let's go to criticism. The non-availability of goods, influence of fashion, costumes and habits, tastes and preferences are not constant. Indivisibility of goods, change in income and price, complementary goods, marginal utility of money does not remain constant. So what do you mean by from the word criticism? So those are the criticism that might happen under the concepts of consumption. So like about goods, so non-availability of this, and the influence of fashion, the customs and the habits, our taste and preferences, so are not constant. And there is also the criticism of indivisibility of goods, and also about the income and price, the complementary goods, and the marginal utility of money, where is does or where money does not remain constant. So let's go to income and substitution effects. Income and substitution effect. The income effect is the change in the consumption of goods by consumers based on their income or purchasing power. The substitution effect happens when consumers replace cheaper items with more expensive ones due to the price changes, or when their financial conditions improve, and vice versa. So there is income effect in the change of consumption of goods. So there is a substitution effect happens when the consumer replace a cheaper items kaysa mupalit siya sa barato kaysa katong mahal, tungod kay nagmahal na ang mga price. So there is a changes kung ang financial conditions improve, and vice versa. So as you can see, the budget constraint, the vertical intercept, the budget set consists of all bundles that are affordable at the given prices and income. So the equation for the budget line, so y is equal to m over p py, then px over pyx. There is a slope relative price ratio and the horizontal intercept. So means the horizontal intercept is m over px. So those are the we can see the budget set. Next is the consumer's utility maximizing choice. The consumer's utility is maximized at the point E, where an indifference curve is tangent to the budget line. The condition for utility maximization. So the optimum quantities of x and y obtained by solving the Lagrangian problem tell us how much of each good individual consumers will demand, assuming that he or she behaves rationally and optimizes his or her utility with his or her budget. So kita nato diha ang demand unsang paliton sa usa ka tao depende sa iya person depende sa iyang budget. So that is the Lagrangian problem. Next is the consumer behavior. The second, the consumer reaction to a change in income. So what there is also a consumer behavior, or it is the consumer's reaction kung na ay change in income. So shifts in the budget line. So M there stands for 10 and Px is equal to 2 and Py is equal to 1. And y is equal to 10 minus 2x. Prices are held constant and income increases. So the consumer's income doubles. So as the prices kay constant naman ang prices, ang income nag-increase. So ang consumer's income nag-double siya. Next is the response to income changes. So there is also a response to income changes. Prices are held constant, income increases. So income consumption curve. So makita nimo ang curve na siya income consumption curve. So it increases in money, income goes the parallel outward is shaped to be the budget line. And the utility maximizing point moves from E1 to E2 to E3. By joining all the utility maximizing points, and an income consumption line is traced out. So ma-trace out good ang income consumption sa ingon ani nga steps. The next is how consumption changes as income changes. So when there is a consumption changes, there is also an income changes. So as you can see, the income consumption curve, and the next picture is the angel curve for good y, with the good y as normal. So as we continue, the other members of this group will continue to explain about the angel curve. Kaya ang atong gihisgutan ra is the income consumption curve. So next is the angel curve. So that's all with my report. Thank you for listening and God bless.
So angel curve or angel's law, a general reference to the function which shows the relationship between various quantities of a good consumer is willing to purchase at varying income levels. Ernst Angel is a German statistician who studied the spending patterns of groups of people of different incomes. People spent a smaller and smaller proportion of their incomes on food as those incomes increased. So consumer behavior is the consumer's reaction to a change in a price. So shifts in the budget line. So this is the example of the graph of budget line. Respond to changes in goods price. How consumption changes as price ratio changes. So the consumer's demand function. We are interested in finding the individual demand curve for the good as an expression for quantity demanded as the function of all prices and income. Let's suppose that the utility function is u is equal to xy plus x plus y. So this is the possible formula that we are using if we're getting the demand function. So the consumer's demand function, so this is also the example of formula of the demand function, which is y is equal to, in close to parentheses, x plus 1 close parentheses px over py deducted by 1. So consumer's demand function as generalized demand function, this is the possible formulas. So the own price demand. So the formula is x is equal to x, then open parentheses to p x p y and m is close to parentheses. Suppose we use the following parametric values. So this is the possible formula that we are going to use if we are getting the own price demand. So angel curve. So according to angel curve or consumer's demand function, suppose we are using the following parametric values. So for income elasticity, this is the formula. The cross price demand curve. So this is the formula also. This is the formula and this is the example of getting the cross demand curve. Is equal to cross price elasticity is equal to Cobb-Douglas utility function. The utility function is u is equal to x raised to the power of. So this is also the formula of Cobb-Douglas utility function.
So, consumer behavior, income and substitution effects. The income effect states that when the price of a good decreases, it is as if the buyer of the good's income went up. The substitution effect states that when the price of a good decreases, consumers will substitute away from goods that are relatively more expensive to the cheaper good. The income effect and the substitution effect of a price change. When price of good X falls, the optimal consumption level or quantity demanded of good X increases. What are the underlying reasons for a response in the quantity demanded of good X due to a change in its own price? Substitution effect. The impact that a change in the price of a good has on the quantity demanded of that good, which is due to the resulting change in relative prices. Income effect. The impact that a change in the price of a good has on the quantity demanded of that good due strictly to the resulting change in real income or purchasing power. These are the formula of income and substitution effects. The substitution effect, two definitions in the literature. The Slutsky substitution effect, the effect on consumer choice of changing the price ratio, leaving the consumer just able to afford his or her initial bundle. The Hicks substitution effect, the effect on consumer choice of changing the price ratio, leaving his or her initial utility unchanged. The Slutsky substitution effect. To remove the income effect, imagine reducing the consumer's money income until the initial bundle is just attainable. We do this by shifting the line AB to a parallel line CD that just passes through E1 or keeping purchasing power constant. Although this formula is still affordable, it is not that optimal purchase at the budget line CD. The optimal bundle of goods is X3 or Y3. In this formula, the letter M is amount of money income that will just make the original consumption bundle affordable. Change or reduction in money income necessary to make the initial bundle affordable at the new prices. Example: the individual demand function for milk is X is equal to 10 plus M over 10 PX. Consumers' income is $120 per week and PX is $3 per quart. Let's suppose that the price of milk falls to $2 per quart. The total change or total effect, there are some formulas given under it. And the substitution effect is x3 minus x1 is equal to 15.3 minus 14 is equal to 1.3. The income effect is 0.7 open parenthesis 16 minus 15.3. The Higgs substitution effect. To remove the income effect, imagine reducing the consumer's money income until the initial indifference curve is just attainable. We do this by shifting the line AB to a parallel line CD that just touches the indifference curve U1, or the utility level is held constant at its initial level. The intermediate point E3 divides the quantity change into a substitution effect and an income effect. Income and substitution effect or inferior good. The consumer is initially at E1 on budget line AF. With a decrease in the price of good X, the consumer moves to E2. The quantity of X demanded increases, or total effect. The total effect can be broken down into a substitution effect associated with a move from E1 to E3, an income effect associated with a move from E3 to E2. X is an inferior good, then the substitution effect exceeds the income effect, so the decrease in the price of good X leads to an increase in the quantity demanded. So that would be all the report of Amantis Group. Thank you and God bless us all.